they're fucking pointless people. You know, like beg for some fucking change in your three-letter agency windbreaker. You fuck.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that. I think that it's an Alien versus Predator situation. It's like whoever wins, we lose.
Yeah.
I feel like I've done that bit before. That being said, I'm much happier that the government is fighting itself than going after your average person, which they still are. They still
Unless you're Mexican.
yes,
It's
in
a
which
bad time to be
it's a
Mexican.
very bad time to be a Mexican.
Hey, if you are someone who still does your taxes, right now is a really great time to do your taxes and try and pull a fast one because the IRS is in shambles.
You're listening to the Art and More podcast with your hosts, Nathan and BR. Nathan is a Canadian illustrator with a couple years of military experience, and BR is a British anarchist that moved to the States. Both are passionate shooters and community builders. Together, they run the Seaburn art page. Enjoy the show.
The disclosure for PP.TF?
No,
No.
I'm talking about the yesterday. I didn't know this. My buddy Alex came over yesterday at like midnight, and he goes, "Hey, did you see what's going on with Instagram?" I'm like, no, I haven't logged in 2 days. What's happened? And he just pulls up his news feed and just like scrolls through it, and it's entirely like 1 in 3 videos were just people dying.
So another beheading video has hit Instagram.
Just
Weird.
immediately, it's like, dude, it was so much worse. I had to, like, contrary to popular belief, I mean, contrary to probably no belief, because probably no one else in the world has thought about this, I really don't like watching people die. Like, I think it's kind of an important part of being a human is being able to empathize with other people, and I don't know, like it just kind of bums me out a little bit. And I grew up in the
Yeah.
Live League generation. Immediately,
We all
there was
did.
like, a dude getting crushed by an excavator or something in what's clearly a ISIS execution video. It just kind
Or
of
some
bummed out.
Chinese factory worker being like ripped
Just
apart
absolutely
by a
annihilated.
machine. Yeah.
Cartel
Yeah.
videos.
Well, the natural enemy of the Chinaman is like an industrial lathe or hydraulic
Correct.
press.
I'm so terrified that you work around heavy machinery on occasion.
Dude, my friends in Onaway are gunsmiths, Minuteman gunsmithing. They have a lathe, and every time I walk by it, I just think about that video I saw.
It calls to me like the Green Goblin mask.
Yeah, just like, man, there's it just spins you until you're a wet rag, you know?
The sweet release of a sloppy wet death.
Ugh. Like
Anyway, no. To your first point. One, I was told about all of these violent videos like flooding Instagram randomly. I didn't see it on my feed. It was still Warhammer, guns, and whatever the fuck else. Just
you're
nonsense.
lucky. Yeah, it
Yeah.
became Cartelstagram for like a few hours.
This
That's
was yesterday?
Yeah, I didn't even know that there was like a hidden Instagram that's entirely just like cartel executions. But I guess we know what they watch now.
Yeah. I barely looked at my phone yesterday, so that makes sense.
Dude, I feel like we have probably two primary groups of viewers. There are those who, like, their group chats are just the boys sharing live leak video after live leak and, like, just fucking awfulness. And
Yeah.
then there's, which a lot of those guys probably think is how our group chats are.
No, they're pretty wholesome, actually.
They really are. It's like, oh yeah, me and my girl are doing this. Oh, weird. You know, like it's normal life shit. Like we have a very dark sense of humor, but like ultimately, I'm with you, Nathan. I fucking hate seeing that shit. Like every
Yeah.
time.
We're talking about people that are immune to it. You know, we grew up in that generation where all that stuff's just kind of on tap whenever you want.
Yeah, but like by like 2021, I was like, I cannot watch another fucking body cam video. I don't want to see any live leak shit. I don't want to see terrorists doing awful things. I don't want to
Yeah.
see drones blowing up Ukrainian and
Yeah.
Russian conscripts. Like I'm just,
Yeah.
I have had my fill. Thank you very much.
Dude,
We've
there
touched
has
on
to be
this talking
something
about
really
Ukraine.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Yeah. We've touched on this before talking about Ukraine and how
Yeah.
like we don't really have a side in that fight because we are sick of watching both sides get sadly
Like
murdered by
18-year-olds
drones out
from
of
either
nowhere.
side getting annihilated.
Mhm.
It's sad, and I think like there has to be something that is incredibly damaging to the human psyche going in and like I don't go on Instagram that much. I generally avoid these kind of videos, so they're not like at the top of my newsfeed. I don't even log in that much. I don't even have a Facebook, anything like that. But on average, about once a week, against my will, I watch someone die. Like,
Yeah, dude,
Pretty
Twitter.
much.
That's that like
Yeah, it's Twitter.
the best call you've made is not getting on Twitter because like against my consent, and I don't follow a single account that's like about that shit, and yet
yeah,
it's constantly forced into my feed. Like I'll just be
Yep.
scrolling. First 3 seconds of a video, I see someone turn into fucking like pink mist, or
yeah,
someone get hit by a car, or gunned down in a restaurant. I'm just like, Jesus Christ, man! I
yeah.
don't want to see that.
And I generally also like the dehumanization and the celebration of death upon your fellow men is something we probably shouldn't celebrate. Maybe it's something that we shouldn't go like, hell yeah, that guy got turned into raspberry jam, unless it's a lizard. Like there's
Rare
unless
exception.
you don't care about it.
Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong. The video of the ATF agent being tased, like, obviously, it's not a dude dying. Like
Yeah,
that, I've rewatched that minimum 50 times. Like,
yeah.
Yes.
But
probably
like
much
an
higher than that.
18-year-old conscript getting turned into fucking like goo by a
Yeah,
$500 DJI drone with a grenade strapped to it or something. No, that shit bums me out.
not the move,
Yeah.
man.
Not
Yeah.
about it.
Well, shit. This is a dark fucking cold open. We're like 5.5 minutes into the PPTF episode. And we're talking about people fucking dying.
I mean, it's a schizocast, I guess. Welcome to the
Yeah.
schizocast. We're going to
Yeah.
We
talk about
die for the
we're
drip,
going to talk about
okay?
training. We're going to talk about PPTF. We're going to talk about 18-year-old conscript getting turned into fucking raspberry jam, I guess.
Good
Road
lord.
rage incidents that go way further. Like some dude gets smoked by it with a Taurus or something. Body cam
Oh
footage.
god,
Man,
please.
Cartelstagram.
Okay, well, anyway, guys, what we're somewhat here to talk about today is PPTF. You guys have been asking about this for 2 years, and now I'm going to pose a question to the group because Lord knows my memory has long since memory hold this. Does anyone remember how PPTF even came to be?
You'll probably have to cut this because of this. We'll cut this little part, anyways. As I say, my sense of humor may be too cynical, and I don't want to hurt the brand. So be aware of that. Back to recording. Yeah, you wanted to make money.
Um,
I mean, yes.
in part, we have for years said that we are very bad at monetizing this thing, which is fine. Like, we would be doing this shit for nothing and have been for, more or less nothing for years. Like, we have
Yeah, it's
almost
she's been running
certainly
it at net negative.
yeah, we've been selling shirts by mistake,
At a
selling
loss.
shirts at a loss. We
Yeah, about a $2
you
or
know,
$3 a piece loss.
yeah, the time I put against this, like we have sponsors, and we have great sponsors who've helped us, like, ease the pain of like the sheer amount of time like I put into editing, Phil puts into editing and photography,
Yeah.
and Nathan puts into artwork. But we're like,
Yeah.
we need a way that is more organic and more direct to support us. And our previous attempt at merch with drop shipping for the Seaburn Art Store, and same with, for those who might remember my efforts solo, like Liberty Punk Inc., all of that stuff, it was drop ship stuff. And like, it's okay, but there is a quality cap on dropship. It's just kind of like set
Yeah.
up, forget.
That, and we're not really supporting people that we like. Like
100%. Yeah.
True.
like the idea, because we did things through Printify before, and this isn't super good listening, so I'm going to like make it pretty quick. Basically, I had everything routed from Shopify to pay Printify automatically from my card, and then they would ship. And it's like, cool, all right, Printify is making like $30 off a shirt that they paid $30 for, and I paid the fee, which is like okay, but like it doesn't go to a company that I like. It's just this faceless conglomerate in fucking California somewhere. Like, cool,
Yeah.
all
And
right.
I got banned off of a couple dropship things during like 2020 because none of my stuff said like hey, go out and
Tickle.
kill people. Like it was spicy, like boog related stuff. Not like nothing silly and like. I mean, a lot of it was silly, but nothing stupid that would get doors kicked in. But I
Yeah.
got banned off a couple for I had a PayPal account banned because we were working with people that had no sympathy for our message, and it's like I had one one account with like $700 in it just fucking froze, and they kept the money.
Disappear.
Yeah, when I made that account during COVID after losing my job to a bunch of people's jobs being shut down because of
You got
COVID. So
fucked by the EULA, dude.
yeah, I
You
needed
get fucked by the EULA. Always read the EULA.
I needed that fucking money at the time, and they just fucking took it and were like, tough luck. And it's like, great,
Yeah.
I've been making plenty for you guys with my little dropship thing and all the fees you guys charge. Like, you guys are running a nice little profit while I'm getting like just enough to help me pay my rent in a really fucking difficult time.
Yeah.
And working with people that don't give a shit about you, they can just shut you off. And
Yeah.
fuck that. So
100%. I think I actually had. There was something that got removed from our Printify. I can't remember what it was. Ironically enough, it wasn't the Uncle Ted T-shirt.
based somehow, kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, long story short, we after we started talking about doing like a new spin-off brand, um, we ended up making contact with Nick and Rachel at SO Expressions. And I don't remember exactly how that started. I think Nathan might have talked to them first.
Yeah,
But
no, they messaged me, and they came out like Nick and Rachel are super cool. They're into guns. They got me into Mark 12s. Funny enough, um, they showed up with their rad scores embroidered into hats. Small company, literally mom and pop company, and
yep,
they're
out of
about
Indiana.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all domestic. They're the coolest shit. I love those guys.
Yeah, Nick's a
No
hell
more
of a
money to
shooter.
faceless corpos.
Yes, 100%. No, support people in our circle. So, shit is printed and embroidered in the US. We can have them print up any heinous design we like, and they will make it happen. We've got a lot more freedom now than we've ever had before to do something like this, which
What
is
really sold me that
really
they were
cool.
cool was they printed, and this is like 2 years before this ever hit the market. They printed the "Eat Your Local Politician" design on a vinyl sticker for my car, and I really want to put it on still, but I also don't want to get like just like someone from either political aisle might just like key my car.
Yeah, like that is safely in the middle where you will upset everyone, more or less. I mean, you'll
Yeah,
just look like a schizophrenic leftist more than anything.
yeah. Like
But
they see my Prius and they're like, "Oh, it's a schizophrenic leftist." They see all the targets in the back seat, and they're either going to be like, "Oh, they're in the SRA, they're gay," or like, "Oh,
the two it's a package deal that
yeah," or they're going to be like, "Oh, it's a gun-toting redneck. I'm going to key his car anyway." Like,
oh, can we
dude,
touch
the
on the
first
fact that
Prius I came across in rural northern Idaho was at just this incredible gun shop called Black Sheep. So it's a gun shop in Coeur d'Alene. I don't care. I'm taking us on a tangent. Fucking love that place. They bought out an old mall that was kind of failing. So you go into this mall and it's like Macy's, cute store, so and so, and then every other store is just like a department of this massive gun store. Like you go in and one of the shops is just their optics section. One of the shops is just like their high end knife section. One of their shops is just 511 gear, which is kind of gay, but I just find this concept so cool. I don't care. Like an entire
But
section for just like night vision stuff. The first time I ever went there, someone just handed me an Uzi and walked away. And I'm just standing there like this Canadian mind cannot comprehend. But
wait, so it's a mall ninja mall?
it's a mall ninja mall with cool
Incredible.
shit. They have like D balls and thermal and everything. Like it is the place. But there's a Prius in the parking lot. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't expect to see a Prius here. I walk a little closer, and there's a giant sticker on the back, which is the meme. I'm just saving money to buy more guns.
Hey,
So,
brother.
like, the guy walks back to me. And he fucking catches me like staring at his car, and he looks at me and he's like, "Yep, I'm a redneck and I drive a Prius." And we just have a talk for like 20 minutes just about guns.
Yeah,
Random.
it's a fine vehicle.
Yeah.
So to
Incredible.
go back to how it started,
Yes.
it started
Was it?
with BR and I sitting in an office at our 9 to 5 that was more like a 9 to 8, hating our lives and watching all these shitty drop culture brands put out shirts with like just plain text on them
Yeah.
and just rolling in money.
I
And
hope
we're
there's
like,
no
dude, we can
gospels
make
out
better
there
merch
right
than
now to
this.
take advantage of me.
Yes,
Well,
exactly.
that's the other half of it. Like, yeah. Me and Phil like setting timers for like people that we like Kilo and a few others like that, like Black Canyon Systems, Mem Projects,
Yes.
people like that make like really cool shit, and then we'd see like people just pumping out like lazy shit or like go like everything's made in China and like it's just like dude, we
Made in
know Nathan.
China. It's just
Yeah,
text on a black shirt.
yeah,
Like, yeah, some of that stuff's funny, and I get it, and I do like some of it, but
Yeah.
like
Whereas with my
art,
shirts or my designs, sorry, not my shirts. You know for a fact that I myself, Nathan, paid a small Asian child to do that, like $8.
yeah. You work hard to source those tiny hands that illustrate so well.
You know that I plugged that prompt into Chat GPT by myself.
that the prompt that you paid for in a batch of 1,000 prompts on Etsy.
No, dude, genuinely, that's why I save time lapses of everything I do, just in case.
Yeah,
I do see a lot of like major companies moving to AI though, and I do find it cheapens it. A friend of mine who I'm not going to dox, and I actually have like called and I'm going to have dinner with him sometime soon. He hired an artist, and this fucking pains me. He hired an artist, and I don't know how much he paid him, but I know who he hired, and I'm not going to call him out either, to do shirt designs for him. And I plugged the guy's line art into an AI detector because like there were certain things that didn't line up, like the hands are a little weird, the feet are a little weird. I plugged in, and our friend who I'm not going to dox, our second artist, did this first, and then I tried it as well. And we both tried it with our art as a control group. The AI detector pinged, like it was this was made with AI, and all the art that him and I plugged in from ours were like, no, this isn't. So there are grifters in this industry that are selling you commission work that is generated.
yep. That's
That freaks the shit out of me.
well, we're in a weird time where like a lot of creativity has been cheapened, and like AI is a part of that. People being lazy and underappreciative of that stuff. Like it's been commoditized in a lot of ways, especially by people like underpaying creatives and using
Yeah.
AI and just kind of taking a lot of this shit for granted. And I think like Phil was getting at, what pinged me back in the day was like, you, Nathan, do art for like half the fucking industry. Like we just walking around shop, we're like, oh, Nathan drew that. Nathan drew that. Oh yeah, that's a
Yep,
shit Nathan
true.
did. like seriously,
appreciate
all
that very
over the
much.
fucking
It's,
place.
Yeah.
someone had to tell me who he was. Armed Scholar was wearing one of
Yep.
my shirts.
Which there's a joke in there, but I'll be polite.
Yes.
No, I'm not crazy about his content, but it was cool that he was rocking one of your shirts. Like, that's
Yeah, I
fucking
had no
sick.
idea who that guy was, and as soon as I saw his you told me, it's like, oh, he's the clickbait guy. I'm like, oh shit. I immediately know who he was.
The ATF is abolished. It's like, bro.
Well, fuck, there's a market for everything. I just
Yeah, each to their own. I got no beef. I don't watch your stuff though, but whatever.
yeah.
And it
I
wasn't. It wasn't.
He was wearing one of my shirts, which is nice.
Yeah, it wasn't like a CBRN or like a on Woosha. It was like something that you'd done for someone else, and he was rocking. And so
Yeah.
that's cool as fuck. And so me and Phil got thinking. We're like, we have like one of the industry's like more prominent illustrators on our
Yeah.
team. But the thing is, the three of us are creatives. We are not businessmen doing business things. Like
Yes, it's hard.
creating.
forced
It's so hard.
creativity.
But you and I are both marketing professionals. Like that's
Yeah.
what we've done for
Yep.
other companies.
Yeah. And so like being being that we've been working on all of this stuff for so long, and like, like just openly to our audience, it's hard to monetize this stuff in a way that is consistent. And like we spend time away from our loved ones, whether it's just me being locked in the basement editing shit, or on trips making content. Like there's a lot of we have a lot of fun. We get to talk to fucking great people and make awesome connections. But there's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that goes on behind the scenes. And to do this stuff more consistently and to meet the demand that we're given, like we need a way to fund it. And so we're like, well, fuck. If we could only just create the infrastructure to have our own brand and like consistently sell stuff, we would be in a much better position. And like with that shit's fucking difficult. That's why for the past few years you've seen us partner up with various industry friends to print, some of Nathan's designs and do like a collaboration here and there. And we've had a lot of joy from that, but while we've been figuring out what this thing would look like, we realized, oh shit, there's a bunch of complicated shit you have to do, like an LLC, and you have to fucking have a billion business expenses before you can even get off the ground, like Shopify and all the behind the scenes boring shit. I had to figure out shipping. I don't know shit about shipping or fucking packaging and poly mailers, but we've got there, and it has been a long, long road. But now that we have the infrastructure more or less built, we're gonna kind of not really a beta test. I've been testing the shit out of the website behind the scenes before launch, but this is our first go of it. We're figuring it out as we go. It's gonna be Phil and I packaging your stuff and sending it out to you. It's gonna be our hands touching your things.
Yeah.
So it's
Feel free to request in the notes. Like I will spit on it if you want.
no, Phil.
Easy
Why?
solution two is message me on the Patreon Discord. Tag me, do things. I will actually make things on demand, or like that is a direct line to me. I'm in there quite a bit.
Yes, you are. Our Discord is popping.
Yes.
But yeah, so it's been a long labor of love to get this thing off the ground. But what is PPTF? Like it, aside from like a infrastructure and stuff, like what it is obviously it's a different full letter acronym from CBRN, because one, without Mitch, me and Nathan are not CBRN experts. That name is somewhat legacy, so we needed something that was like like we have a slightly different thing with the Art and War podcast, but for our silly shenanigans, I wanted something that was a bit closer to kind of where our hearts are and like what we're actually truly good at. So for anyone who's not familiar with the acronym, PPTF, Propaganda Proliferation Task Force, or PP Touch Force.
Whatever's here, I think, is the right answer.
Yes, that's why it's fun as well.
Yes.
But no, Propaganda Proliferation Task Force, because what we've been doing for years is we've been making propaganda. We're very open about that. Like we're here to put subject matter experts in your face and talk about silly things and maybe push the needle in a slightly more fun spot, because we're freedom refugees who come from places that suck. So
Yes.
this is all in that vein. We want to make stuff that's fun to wear to the range. Some people were asking if it's going to be all like super jokey stuff. I don't think it's ever going to be like, takes itself too seriously, like Jocko kind of shit.
No, that's not fun.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll have like slightly more serious designs, but it's never going to be like skull and nods like slop.
It's God. I drew half the things I draw are skeletons with nods. Like
That's
I drew one
another
today.
reason. Yeah. Yep. It's another reason we
Facebook's
wanted to make this
on it with just
brand.
like quad nods, but instead of nods, it's just like dicks strapped to the guy's helmet. Fucking awesome. I love that
Great.
guy. That guy does branding fucking well. As an aside, gosh, I've been holding on to two of these for you. I ordered some United Healthcare 30 round mags.
Hell yeah.
I fucking love these. We're not going to offer. Maybe we'll offer mags one day. I don't fucking know. I
So that's the other thing. SO Expressions can engrave mags. So you guys might have seen a couple pictures of like PP.TF mags. It's we might do
yeah.
those and other things in the future, but not for this first drop.
The problem with that is like we'd have to have a different payment structure because Spotify does not allow that kind of thing. So it would have to
Oh,
be.
do they? That makes sense.
No, dude, like almost nowhere allows. And I was having a conversation with my friend who did these United Healthcare things, Meg Works. He and I think he's going to get fucking boned for this. I'm just going to say it on this show, and he's not going to listen to it because he actually has no idea I have a podcast. I don't think.
That's funny.
I've known him since before we got into guns. He just happened to get into this industry. He's like advertising on Facebook. You can pay through his site through PayPal. Like all of this stuff. It's like I told him straight up, like withdraw your cash every day. You are going to get boned for that.
Yeah, PayPal. PayPal will fuck you with a stick.
Yeah,
They
almost.
are assholes.
Yeah, I only have a PayPal now to use gaffs because you have to.
Yeah.
I know a guy who like PayPal sucks, but they are good at one thing, which is purchase protection. A good friend of mine here got absolutely boned buying a PVS 14 on TaxSwap from a guy with like 50 plus good trader ratings, and it was an exit scam. The guy just took his money and ran. Had him pay through Venmo, so he's fucked.
I had the same thing happen with an EOTech 5 years ago.
That sucks. What
Dude
happened?
just took my money, disappeared.
Man,
Sick.
Like $400
That's
for an
great.
EXPS 3 and just dipped.
Was it like a long time TaxSwap person?
To be honest, I don't recall.
Yeah.
It was 5 years
No,
ago.
these happen. Like gaffs. The one good thing about Reddit. Speaking of Reddit, schizophrenic thought. I know we're jumping around a little bit. We'll get back to our little PP touch force. I promise. Did you notice? Did you see that headline about there was a Reddit outage? And no, there was a power outage at like an Air Force base. Can't remember which base, but they process a lot of like SIGINT stuff, and they have a lot of like int officers, a bunch of top secret squirrel things going on. And while this base had a power out, Reddit traffic dropped like 30%. And like suddenly the discourse was kind of normal. It wasn't all weird astroturfed hyper blue bullshit. Then when as soon as the power came back on, within a couple hours Reddit was back to normal.
It was like, all right, guys, back to your stations.
Yeah, back to your stations, just like dropping gay neoliberal bullshit on fucking Reddit of all places.
I mean, remember
But-
Twitter when they audited Twitter before Elon bought it? It was something like 60 to 70% of users were just bots.
Yeah, which is wild. My
So they were
worry
just
too is like,
flooding Twitter.
yeah, just dead internet theory. You're
Yeah.
probably talking to a bot, a Fed, or like a bot advanced, some sort of like language learning algorithm like ChatGPT. It is so dystopic that people can just use that to reply to their Twitter dates. I mean, Tinder dates. Like that's not uncommon.
Yep.
Isn't that an option? Obviously I haven't been on a dating app in years, but I'm pretty sure I've seen that you can like have AI write a response.
It gives you an
like-
option to do that natively now.
I think
It-
I might be
it's
talking
been-
shit.
It's been over a year for me. I don't know. That would be
I was going to say,
post
do you
my
guys
time.
like we're all in relationships? Do you guys ever feel like we just got on the last chop road of Vietnam?
God damn it! I've seen that in my feed, but yes, 100%.
Real, like I'm not
It
even.
is real. No, dude, I say that to my fiance all the time. I'm like, I mean, one, I love you, obviously, but I am so fucking glad. Like, I am terrified of, like, if I have a dream where something happens and we break up, like, the nightmare is re-entering dating. I'm like,
Yeah,
no, I have to
yeah.
make a new fucking Hinge account.
No, dude,
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 that
straight
is
up. Like at this
stress.
point, like if you divorce me, I will kill myself.
Yeah, no,
Be
I've
talking things.
I've said to my lady, I was like, I will live in a cave and become essentially a fucking member of the town.
My girl and I
For
have
legal
both
reasons, this
said,
is a
like,
joke.
there's no ending this relationship. This is it.
Yes, the only way I get out of this relationship is in a fucking coffin.
Yeah.
Yes, based,
Yeah.
very based. Yeah, no. So, I guess that's something else that sets us apart from some other merch brands is that we don't cheat on our women.
I wonder.
um,
Oh man.
or abuse them. Christ, what a great scene.
You're
Yeah.
divorcing a 9. Now get out there and come in a 5.
Five.
You're
Oh, I don't
really
know.
finagling and maneuvering your way around saying a name, aren't you?
Finagling and maneuvering. That's one way to say it. No, giving it airtime is it's a waste of the precious seconds on this
You
podcast.
you
Now,
can you can cut my jokes, my cynical
no,
cynical.
no, we're keeping that one. It's better than my usual.
Okay.
Um,
I couldn't think
no,
of another word that started with an M. That would be funnier. But I
dude,
tried.
actually, that's kind of a funny point. Is like we've all got interestingly like different histories and relationships with this weird like apparel culture that is parallel to like the gun space. Like it's such an interesting culture that exists, like this hype brand thing, because it's quite powerful if you think about it. Like it elevates people from obscurity to like big fish in small pond kind of fame. Like just from like dumb shirts, like all sorts of people have blown up, some deservedly, some not, just by making funny shirts and then dumb content to go along with it. But like Nathan, as an illustrator, you've illustrated for a whole bunch of those dudes and had your stuff stolen by a whole bunch of those dudes.
Oh, dude, like a lot,
Um,
like an
yeah,
annoying.
yeah, fucking Roman statue profile picture motherfuckers. And then Phil, like you've had a lot of experience. I mean, you were I hate to say consumer, but like
Hmm.
you've got a deep knowledge of. I mean, I go to you before anyone else when it's like, is this hat cool? Like, is this cut of hoodie good? Because
Yeah.
I'm
I
a
mean,
I'm an aggressively utilitarian motherfucker with no taste.
that comes from like before guns. I mean, at the start of it was like buying band T-shirts back in the day, and then that
Yep.
turned into when I got into skateboarding, it was skate culture, and then in free skiing, there's a whole like style to free skiing and streetwear within free skiing, and then once I got so deep into guns that I found the streetwear style of the quote unquote gun community, which at the start of it, I know there's a lot of different brands now, but like Forward was one of the biggest ones at the start. And
Yeah.
then around the same time,
Ford's still
Kilo
around.
started, and Kilo actually makes really good
I
stuff too.
I met the guy behind it last year. Super fucking cool dude. We talked about having him on. I have dragged us on making that happen. So apologies to Kilo. We would love to have you on. But super super cool dude. And yeah, makes really cool shit.
Those dudes are sick. I mean, Pharaoh was doing it early on too, but I mean, that makes sense. Their owner comes from a skateboarding background as well. Um, Yeah, so I've been paying attention to it for a while. And definitely that 2019 2020 era was when it all really popped off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Everyone. I mean, everyone was home. A lot of people were getting free money, and there was like a lot of big cultural things going on, and
Hmm.
it was a time to really lean into some self-expression to say your piece on what the fuck was going on in the world. And I mean, that's when I started my little thing, my little Liberty Punk Inc. thing, just to throw some stickers and shirts into the mix. Even some fucking my anarcho Betsy Ross flags. One of them was flown at the 2020 Richmond rally.
Oh
um,
boy.
yeah, no, I've got pictures of Carrie Sloan, who we've had on the show. There's a picture of her with someone in a BR mask. I think at January 6th.
Ooh.
I know, kind of cool, right?
Kind of
But
cool. Also,
Wait, what was it?
counter to your message.
yeah, I'm like, oh god, this nerd is why are you at January 6th, my guy? Um, but yeah, no, it's a funny few years where there was like a lot of that stuff going on beyond the like the OGs. Like everyone was popping stuff up, and with that, there was like a pretty stark drop off in quality. But
But an explosion of culture came out of it.
yeah,
So
no,
even
100%.
even if a ton of brands popped off and a ton of them are doing really poor quality stuff, you now have a massive group of people who are now representing to a culture all the
In a
time,
yeah,
everywhere they
and
go.
in a very new way. Like
Yes.
previously, it was like the Second Amendment. We've historically on this show and on the page talked about gun culture 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, whatever the fuck we're on now, 72.0.
I now that I'm here, I have thoughts about that. I'll get into them later.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we've seen it. We've been a small part of it shifting. Like we've all lived through like a whole lot of upheaval, but I think all of us can remember a time when the most accessible gun culture shirts came from fucking Cabela's or like 511 or Nine Line and like all of these awful cringy like
Yep.
more or less like hero worshipping. I'll only get down on one knee to suck a hero cop's cock kind of like designs. And now there is something that actually more speaks to our generation of shooter, things that are designed to piss off the crusty RSO that just needs to fucking retire. Like all of these designs with a small logo on the front and then main design on the back, facing facing the motherfucker when you're in the at the gun range, saying
Yeah, but
something heinous that's gonna get you a tap on the shoulder.
if you're still going to public gun ranges and you don't have
Oh
to, if
God
you
help
have
you.
BLM land, don't just drive further. Just drive further. God, I drove for like an hour each day, twice a week, each way twice a week, just to like get away from the FUDs at the ranges. You do a lot more. Like after a certain point, there's really not like no returns you'll get from shooting in an indoor range. None.
100%
Oh,
agree.
none.
Like I don't even remember the last time I went to an indoor range to. I think it
No,
was in like, Georgia to fuck around with PSR like 2 years ago or something.
You can't draw from a holster at most indoor ranges.
Yeah,
yeah,
and even if you can, like, okay, cool, you can practice a draw that you can do at home,
yep.
and you can shoot
Yeah,
a
it's dry
static
fire.
target off a timer once every second. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's very rare indoor ranges where they'll open up the lanes and let you go forward
yeah,
of that and have like
yeah,
set
I
up
get it if like you have a membership there and you're able to do that, but like,
yeah, do a bit of movement, but even still like just
yeah,
fuck shooting inside. Like
yeah,
I desperately miss public land from Arizona.
yeah,
Like holy fuck, Arizona boys. If you're considering moving, like really think about where you're going because the public
really
land
think about it.
you will really
Oh,
miss that shit.
Yeah,
I
Let
miss that
me tell
and
BLM
you.
like
land
I
so
get it in
much.
places like Texas where you really have to know someone, or like in a
Yeah,
lot of places you
Texas
really
is
have to know
fucked for
someone.
shooting. Yeah.
Yeah, but like if you are in one of those places, make some local friends, man. Like join local shooting discords. Look around. Even fuck Reddit, but look on Reddit. See where people are going. There's probably all sorts of places that are slept on because the general gun owning public kind of fucking sucks. That people don't talk about unless you're cool. If you're cool, opportunities will open up for you. If they can open up for me in fucking Nova Scotia, of all places, they can probably open up for you in a gay state or in like Texas or somewhere without a lot of BLM land.
Yeah. I mean, like yeah, we're out here, and it's very difficult to find open land to shoot on. But fortunately, we've been growing our network since me and Phil have ended up in Appalachia, and I'll be doing an FTX this weekend, which is
Oh, we
funny.
should
Just
go
a
to that.
Yeah, just a side note. Fucking of course, the day that we decide to launch PPTF after 2 years of preparation, Phil will be probably on a flight when everything goes live, and same
Yep.
day I will be heading to an FTX for the weekend with a bunch of good dudes. Um, so neat, but also like our timing is just impeccable. Like we decided firmly on the date, and then it was like, oh yeah, we have shit going on. Well,
Yeah.
it needs to happen. If we keep on kicking the can down the road, it will never happen. So
Yep,
Yeah.
too
we
late.
are
We're
going
launching it.
live. Yep,
Yeah.
it's happening. Oh
You should
lord.
tell us a little bit about the FTX. What are you doing? Wasn't that with Nick the Lefty?
We're gonna be doing some like patrol base, LPOP kind of like setups. We're gonna have like a decent number of dudes, which is cool because I'm used to from Arizona. Like we had such unreliable numbers with our training group. It'd be a miracle if you could get 8 dudes out when 14 people said they were coming. It was like just unreliable people was like the constant. We'd have like 3 dudes, usually myself included, that would rock up to damn near everyone, and then like a loose gaggle of people that were like semi reliable, and then a whole bunch of people that I'd see, maybe twice a year. And it's just like, ugh. But no, with this, Nick has a really solid group of dudes who are like squared away. I haven't got to do a proper like field training thing with them yet. I've done a range day with Nick's lot. I've hung out with them. Me and Phil have hung out with them a couple times. One at a range event, and then one on Nick's property.
Hmm.
Uh, but yeah, we'll be doing a little overnighter. Basically, getting everyone reacquainted with doing a patrol base, doing patrolling at night, pulling security, like nothing super super crazy. We're going to be going and doing like a little bit more like involving comms. I think we're doing like some basic medical involved in that. But what I would advise everyone, if you're not already doing this with your training events, is to isolate skills. Like a lot of people try and do way too many things at one time when they do these events. And it really depends on the level your training group's at. Like if everyone has basic soldiering skills squared away, then yeah, move on to more advanced stuff. But even when you do move on to more advanced stuff, like isolate it to 1 or 2 new skills per weekend, because you know we don't get much time to do these things, and doing 18 things at once, the exposure that you get is dog shit. And that's
Yeah.
like it's hard when you're an irregular force, if you want to call it that. When you're weekend warriors larping, like you you get an opportunity to expose a bunch of people to skills that they might not know how to practice on their own time or how to research more into on their own time. But when you do 18 different things, you learn so fucking little. You get like a tiny little taste of doing a bunch of things, and then it's probably going to be, depending on how reliable your training group is, or just how much free time you're able to allot to training. It could be a month, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 months before you get a chance to do another similar FTX. And at that point, like all of this shit is perishable. Like
Yeah.
I'm excited about this. I'm gonna name drop them real quick. The Alien Kaufman SA-80 thing. I'm
Nah.
super excited to build out that rifle, but I acknowledge my skills and drills with an SA-80. Holy fuck, they're gonna be abysmal. I haven't shot a bullpup regularly in like 7 years, maybe longer than that. Like I'm going to suck with that, and everything is like that. Whether it's
Yeah,
applying
it's
a
not exactly the
tourniquet,
most ergonomic bullpup either.
no, and like there's so many skills like that. Like I mean, just the keeping a drawing from concealment, drawing from an OWB holster. Like there's so many skills that you're like, oh yeah, I've done this a million times. You could be really good at it, and then leave it for a couple months. You come back to it, and you're like, I am fucking embarrassing. And
Oh, dude, all of
honestly,
this stuff is perishable. All of
yeah,
it. Like,
yeah.
I talked to someone today who knew someone, and perhaps this is exaggerated, perhaps not, but they said they don't need to work out anymore because they were a Marine and they just kept it up. About 6 years.
I am become muscle.
Yeah. So I do really think that you have to keep on top of stuff. One, but two, like you can't overload your brain. Now that we're adults, we don't learn like children do. Like
No,
anyone who's
no.
listening to this, chances are you're 18 or older. Chances are like you're 25 or older. Like I see our metrics. I know kind of how people work, and a big thing too. And my mind immediately jumps to those bullshit like SEAL, macho. We're going to make you, run through the mud and cry, and we're going to sleep deprive you, and muscly dudes are going to yell at you for an hour. It's like that's not how adults learn. Are you familiar with the adult learning model?
Not terribly.
It's developed
I'm
by
aware of it.
yeah, the psychologist Malcolm Knowles, and it basically it shows that like if you are teaching an adult anything, it has to be practical, relevant, and it gives them. You have to give the adult control over the process to some degree. Like
Yeah.
treating people like children in the whole like drill sergeant way, or just overloading them with knowledge that they can't actually practice or like experience, because like you need to have somewhat self-directed learning, like problem solving, and you have like control over what you're learning, and experience-based learning, which is bringing like life and work experience, and like okay, cool, set up a tent, like you're doing it under your own terms, you're problem solving that yourself, and you're bringing like life and work experience into it. There's a goal at the end, which third thing, goal oriented. You have to see a clear reason for learning something. It has to be relevant. You have to have a problem solving approach, which I kind of got into, and there has to be motivation with like external factors. For example, I don't know, the world might end, or I don't know, I want to learn how to build a tent because I like camping with my wife. Um, I'm getting kind of long winded here, but I see
No,
so
no.
many. Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I get what you're getting at.
Yeah. I came into this actually a couple of weeks ago. I'm thinking of, and occasionally I'll RSO or I'll sit in on and help instruct pistol classes because it's something I'm okay at. And like the bar for being a decent pistol shooter is very, very low. It's very low until it's not, so to be clear. But most of the people taking like defensive pistol 2 or something like that, the bar is pretty fucking low. And I see exactly that. If you overload people with too much at one time, they will immediately revert to their lowest level of training, which is basically like don't put the gun in your mouth, and even then, sometimes they'll put the gun in their mouth.
Yeah,
It-
yeah.
like
There is.
yeah,
Oh, I was gonna say there's something very useful about something as simple, and a lot of people like, people who've been there and done that and been cool guys. Like a lot of them will shit on this stuff, and it's like that's cool. You got paid to do this when you were 18. A lot of
yeah,
people didn't, but like something as simple as like an overnight ruck thing, where you're doing a good few miles with some weight on your back, a rifle, kit. Like there's some very basic discipline you need for that. Like you need to be able to make sure you're hydrated, that your layering isn't fucked up, so you end up being like a heat casualty in one way or another. You need to be able to feed yourself. You need to not be a fucking liability to the rest of the team. Like,
yeah,
you saw it on our little Arizona training events where someone would be setting up our little patrol base, and someone would unpack like they're in a hotel room for a week, and it's like, dude, like with love, you haven't done this before. Like, if this was real world, and someone fucking drops a grenade on us from a drone, and all of a sudden we start getting shot at, like all of your shit is gone. Like,
Yeah, you
we
basically
are
have
not waiting.
the
Yeah,
slate out in front of you. No, it's
yeah,
like
we're
cool.
not waiting for you, dude. That shit is gone.
Yeah, we made it to the objective. Dig the fucking hole. Then when
Yeah,
we're done, sleep in the fucking hole. Get in your bivvies.
yeah, yeah.
You're,
It's
you're,
like
you're on first watch. Um,
all of those basic little disciplines. Like you, you need to go out there and like physically do it, and honestly, physically fuck up. Like people overpack. People don't pack the right things. I think I've talked about this before on the show, but I've seen someone almost freeze to death uh, who uh, who thought northern Arizona in the fall, they'd just be able to sleep on a bed of pine needles and wouldn't need to bring a puss pad. It's like,
yeah,
buddy, you are going to sap all of your body heat into the ground and then die, and we're going to wake up wondering why you're being so sleepy.
yeah,
Like cold camping turned into everyone donate your fucking emergency blankets, and I guess we're building a fire now, like fucking retards.
yeah. It's it's kind of funny, especially, and I think that the average civilian should, if they choose to, be able to access all of the training that anyone in any NATO death squad has. But it is very funny to me sometimes when like a person who has never experienced a day of hardship in their life goes to essentially like a weekend glamping trip with the boys, but they just happen to have a gun.
Yep.
And I'm not even going to shit on those people as long as they learn from the experience and are humble enough to
100%.
be like, oh shit,
No,
and learn.
it's a beautiful thing when you see. I highly encourage everyone to do that kind of thing. Like I think it's
Learn to be
I
a
think it's yeah, it's such a basic skill because all it is like you are camping out of a backpack with a gun,
yeah,
and of course there are
yeah,
elements to add to that with concealment and being ready to do work and basically maintaining yourself, like making
yeah,
sure that you know. Um, 2 days, 5 days, a week, 2 weeks, like making with whatever your supply resupply ends up being, but like basically being able to maintain yourself in the field for an extended period of time. That
yeah,
that is a skill set, and
yeah,
it's one that comes with some recreational suffering, and
yeah,
it's not. It's nothing crazy. Like you can make it pretty fucking crazy if you're dumb, but
yeah,
it's we are we're an animal that used to exist outside. Like
yeah,
we've gotten a little bit cozy. Like
yeah. 100%.
relearning to live through that hardships. Like
Yeah,
experiences may differ.
yeah, and sometimes you just got to get out into the woods with the boys and practice, traversing linear danger crossings. Um,
Based.
yeah, but that being said, too, vet who you go out with. All because someone was a cool guy and did cool things doesn't mean they're an excellent trainer. One of the best pistol shooters I know here. Just I keep going back to pistol shooting because that's what I find the most fun with these days.
It's hard.
One of the best pistol shooters I know.
It is.
Yeah, no, it is. He's an excellent pistol shooter, but he's a terrible teacher. He's even going to probably hear this, and I've said as much to him in nicer terms.
It's also teaching is a difficult skill set.
It
Yeah, it's
is. You
another
have to be
skill
patient with
itself.
people, and you again can't treat adults like children. If you treat adults like
Nope.
children, they're not going to retain things. If you insult people or call them stupid, they're just going to resent you. We're all adults. We just come from differing backgrounds and levels of expertise.
Yeah, that's the other thing is with training events. Like
Yeah,
I need more reps in a team lead position in that role, and doing the whole fucking Sandhurst thing. Like I do have a background in learning leadership skills, and I've worked on teams, I've led teams, I've got a decent amount of leadership experience, but that is general professional leading experience. Like it does differ from leading people in the field, and something about training, it's important to fuck up. Apologies to whoever is in my team this weekend. I'm probably gonna fuck up. I was trained to be an officer, so God help my two IC. You're reading the map. What?
yeah. The bar is pretty low. Like, British officer.
British officer, God help. everyone training with me. But like on a serious note, it's important to fuck up. Otherwise, you're stagnating and not learning anything. Like
Yeah,
some
100%. That's the big thing. Everyone will make mistakes, but I think it's important to, one, not sabotage yourself by beating yourself up over said mistake, and two, like, learn from it and remedy it for next time. Maybe you'll make 4 mistakes, maybe you'll make 10, but as long as you are capable of eventually learning and not doing something that will get yourself and others killed, recognizing like, hey, I got to do this rep again. Maybe I got to do this again. Maybe I should defer and ask opinions and advice from people who know what they're doing. A lot of people attach their ego to things, especially in the gun world, where machismo is kind of like a driving force behind a lot of why people get into this. It sucks to suck. I hate to say it, but that's true.
yeah.
But hey, if it leads people to greater things, that's more important, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah,
like I say this semi often. I don't know if I say it enough on this podcast, but like one of the things that I always say is one of the strongest defining traits of actual intelligence is acknowledging and knowing what you don't know, which
yes,
is difficult to do, obviously. Like, um, it just takes self-awareness and knowing that you are not all-knowing and that there will always be someone who knows more than you do about any particular thing. There will always be someone you could learn from, even if it's just a different. You could be a fucking master of your field or a skill set and meet
yeah,
someone who has a different perspective on it. And even if they're also at your skill level or even less skilled than you, their different perspective could teach you something new.
yes, 100%. And I think that that's super important. Just like keep an open mind. It's something that I regretfully see a lot of in this industry. It's like people who are really good at something. This isn't the case all the time, but it's a case a lot of the time. People who are really good at something aren't open to other correct ways of doing the thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to name names or even like subjects, but I find like seeing arguments between various experts in their field. One person's like, "Oh, I was trained on this SOP and it's correct," another person's like, "I was trained on this SOP and I deployed 18 times. It's also correct." Sorry, can you hear my dog in the background?
Only a little bit.
Okay, yeah, she's trying to fight me with a tire.
Well,
Go
Nathan,
like,
you're trying to stick them in a fucking saucepan, so I understand where they're fighting you. I thought that was weird.
Can you see her in the camera? Just
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, go lie down. Go. This is bad listening. I apologize, people. Um,
yeah. Okay, Nathan's not gonna eat his dog today, people. Don't worry.
yeah, no. Later, tomorrow, maybe. I've got some
A
Szechuan sauce simmering in the kitchen.
little
Dude,
bit of
I
extra age to this one.
fairly loudly at my local grocery store. The guy, like a guy stocking the shelves, collapsed laughing. Like was on his knees. Yeah, just and then came and talked to me the other day in said grocery store, and now I can never go back to that grocery store again.
What did you say?
I so I was with my friend Einar shopping, and he goes like, "Hey Nathan, you're Asian. Like, what's the best kind of ramen?" We're in the ramen aisle, and I say, "I don't know, dude. The one with dog in it." And yes, I can never go back to Winco in the in X insert place again, even though I've doxed my location like 50 times at this point. But
Nah, dude, I would just walk up to the employee that was laughing, and just like
yeah,
with a straight face, like a month from now, ask him where the dog meat is. Do you mean dog food? No, I want dog.
you know what I love? Basically, all of rural America has the same accent. Doesn't matter if you're north, south, east, west, wherever. All of rural America just kind of has that little bit of twang.
They're just relaxing,
Yeah,
wherever they might be.
man, I know that I've started going native because I've actually, unironically, have really started enjoying country music.
Dude, when I first got here, I didn't have a car that I could
Yeah?
connect Bluetooth to, so I
Yeah.
just had to listen to the local radio stations in Phoenix, and I fucking couldn't figure out the radio station, so I ended up the only ones I could safely like find were country stations, and so I'd be in bumper to bumper traffic. I grew up in the fucking countryside, so like I never did city traffic like this, and I'd be in bumper to bumper traffic in Phoenix, listening to country music, just like because if I put it to a hard rock station, it was like it would be super heavy shit, and I'd just be sitting there like, I understand American road rage now. This
Yeah.
I want to tickle people. But I'd listen to country about someone singing about, their dog dying and their wife cheating and a 6-pack of beer, and I'm like, hell yeah, brother. However, like, that shit, normal country is gay.
Yeah.
Outlaw country, very based. Bluegrass, very based.
Yes. There was straight up a song that just came on my playlist earlier that was about, I think, like burning down various public institutions. No, it just
Hell
came up
yeah,
with the
brother.
rest of it. So I'm like, okay, this is what country should be.
Yeah, country music is about crime.
Yes.
It's about just white boys committing crime.
Yes. There was another though that was entirely about getting high behind the Tim Hortons. I quite enjoyed it.
Fuck yeah. Oh shit! Speaking of
yeah.
country music, Phil, I need to snipe us some Wu-Tang tickets tomorrow.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Wu-Tang touring?
Wu-Tang is doing their final tour, apparently. The
Okay,
Last
I was
Chamber.
about to say like you're about to show up at this place. Everyone in the audience is going to be white, and then like 5 old black men shuffle onto the stage in various like one of them's in a rascal, one of them has a walker, you know, 3 of them are like hobbling on canes. But no,
Normally-
that's gonna be awesome. I'm kind of jealous.
Normally,
art-
I would agree with you about it being all white people, except the closest location to us is Atlanta.
Oh
Yeah.
no, never mind. Yeah, just
Yeah. So I have never been to Atlanta, but Phil was like spent his early years there and has frequented it. I think I'm gonna get killed. Phil seems to think it'll be fine.
Oh,
It'll
dude,
be fine.
them hearing your accent's going to go one of 2 ways. You're either going to get murdered, or you'll be everyone's best friend.
I kind of want to rock my fucking British police jacket to the show.
Dude, the idea of just like you're going to be the warlord of that place. It's going to be like Mad Max.
I'm gonna confiscate joints and then smoke them.
Allegedly.
Quality inspection.
Yeah, fuck. That's what I need to put on the Velcro. Doobie quality inspector. Oh fuck.
Oh man,
You're welcome.
Well, I saw a really good movie with the RZA in it lately. It was one of my favorite movies. I've brought it up in the show before. Nobody. Highly recommend. A couple years
He
old.
was in Nobody.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick. I
I'm
haven't
not
seen
going to
Nobody.
spoil the who he plays because it's kind of like a surprise cameo, but he's a very major character in it.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But for anyone that doesn't know, like I am quite the Wu-Tang fan, which is funny when you have this accent to be like Wu-Tang, protect your neck.
Wu-Tang forever. I say
Wu-Tang
it
is for the
as
children.
possible.
Yeah, seriously. What was I gonna say? Oh, I did like a whole fucking hour. Maybe it might have been like an hour and a half episode on the album that they made. That fucking farmer douchebag bought and then lost to the government.
Oh, Martin Shkreli.
Yeah.
The
He
government
bought
never
that
released
fucking. Yeah. Well, I did like a whole hour and a half ramble about it. For the record, the most unpopular episode I have ever contributed to the podcast sphere. Like, so few views, but I was so passionate about this. I I did this whole ramble about it, and it's just me talking to myself, no one else. I ramble about the whole fucking thing. But I came across that episode the other day, and I saw the view count. I was like, ooh, it's
not so good. Which episode was it?
Well, it was the BR Hates Fed show. I forget what episode it was.
Well, I will go give a listen to it just for you. I will bump that
you.
listener count by 1 if I have not listened to it already. But it doesn't sound familiar, so I don't think I have.
With love, I think it might have had more listens than Mitch's soccer episode. Ooh, sorry,
Ooh.
Mitch. I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find the episode number right now.
Did you ever listen to Skrelly was on
Rogan, wasn't it, or something similar?
no, not Rogan. It was one of his homies. The
Oh, it
like
was he. He was talking to Shane Gillis and some other people.
that's not the one I'm talking about. He was on
Oh,
the like Ukrainian dude. He was like into physics and stuff. God, why can't I think of his name? Awkward
oh,
dude.
here we go. Episode 26 of the BR Hates Fed show, the unreleased Wu-Tang album "Once Upon a Time in Shaolin." You can listen to me ramble about that for 39 minutes and 24
Wait,
seconds.
has it still not been released?
No, it's the album.
Yeah.
No,
Are we
because
going to? I want. If the government releases the Epstein list before we get the Wu Tang album, one, I'll be very surprised. But
I will commit jihad to release "Once Upon a Time in Shaolin."
yes,
Hear
I
me
don't
now,
give a fuck about
Hear
the
me now, United States
whatever.
government. This is a threat.
Yeah.
That's right,
Doesn't
Maple. We're
deserve
gonna fuck
the
them
list
up.
either. She's crying here in the background.
Wu-Tang is for the Maple.
Yeah. I just don't
Uh,
trust anything. You see that they again did not release the list.
oh, I mean, it's gonna be the most cucked. Like, they've
It is.
had so many years to like create a completely false narrative, like a beautiful false narrative that
Yeah,
like sounds great to
that's
everyone
exactly it.
without two brain cells rubbed together.
It's
It's gonna be so fucking toothless. It's gonna be
they
a bunch of
released a bunch
sacrificial
of
lambs.
conservative influencers today,
Yeah,
and
what the fuck is that?
yeah, and it's entirely just redacted. You can see it in their hands. It's just like black box, black box, black box, black box. It's like at this point, it's like okay, we all know that everyone's going to get away with this. Fuck off! Stop pretending. Like this is a grift. So I saw
Dude.
someone today say that this is the right's version of the left's Project 2025. It's like, oh, all right, okay. Like not to get
Oh,
into politics. I think everything in politics is a fucking grift, but this is like especially egregious.
it's just so in your face. Like everything. I mean, we went from like a administration that was being overtly just like what is it? Neoliberal. It was like neoliberal warfare. Like they were like, just wrenching the towel to get every last drop of blood out of any war we could get ourselves into and looting the treasury shamelessly and saying that it was all for these like beautiful, diversity goals and like weird shit like to make it to astroturf it.
Yeah,
And now we're in like a different age where we're gonna have 4 years of just like, isn't this good what we're doing for freedom? As they fucking like punch you in the face and like
yeah,
remove even more capability from what the individual's able to do, and like just
yeah.
build like we're building some seriously cyberpunk like dystopian shit right now,
We are. It's
and
a
everyone's
lot.
cheering it on.
Hey, look at this. We're gutting all these federal agencies that really shouldn't have had money. Don't get me wrong. Like holy shit, like this is great. And then it's like, oh well, we're putting this money into like putting boots on the ground in Gaza, and
Yeah,
yeah, we're going to turn into fucking like McDonald's, I guess. Just like a
dude,
wall.
did you see the AI video Trump shared?
Oh
Oh my
yeah, dude, it's
God.
wild.
There was bearded women in bikinis. There was a golden statue of Trump in Gaza. What the fuck else was there? Was like
We want to
I
talk
don't,
about propaganda.
Yeah,
dude,
That
like
was some propaganda. Holy shit.
like who
Like-
watches that and goes like, hell yeah? Who's not like a blatant accelerationist?
I've had so many, and so many people are gonna bitch about this. Like so many people that are very close to where we're at. Some very dear friends of mine, in fact. They see things like the Ross Ulbricht thing and like agencies. Basically the government has AIDS right now. Like it's
Yeah,
it's fucking itself up from within to a degree, but it's also building like NSA level shit. It's very George Bush. Like right now, we're being poisoned in ways that we're gonna learn about like a couple of
Yeah.
years from now.
I had moments of
Um,
opium, which I didn't expect to have. I had moments of just like, holy shit, he actually put RFK into like the position he did. Holy shit, they actually are gutting these like fraudulent institutions, and then it's like, oh well, look where the money's actually going. Look at the
Israel.
budget and look at like the mechanisms of like surveillance and law enforcement and everything else that are being made
Oh,
inside.
dude, yeah. The
Corrupt
law
institution
enforcement,
and making
law
another.
enforcement is getting everything they want right now.
Yeah,
Just
which
one
like
step at a time, getting closer to global digital currency.
yeah, it's
You
like
think
I did
centralized
not want
banking
this,
is
but I
bad
will
now?
absolutely admit that I had hopium for just like a minute that the
Yep.
institution was suffering, and now it's like, oh wait, nope, tech oligarchy. Here we go, digital currency, like scanned fucking IDs. No. But here's hoping, at least fucking something happens. I don't hate Kesh Patel. I don't hate how much of a weird zealot he is. At least he's not who was there before.
What I like right now is, like I said, the government has AIDS. It's fighting itself, and it's not that it's the people that are fighting the government. It is one
Yeah,
wing of the bird attacking the other. There's a power struggle right now, and
yeah,
we're cheering it on. And I think there will be wins.
yeah,
I think there's going to be a lot of mess and confusion on enforcement in a lot of good ways.
yeah,
I think there's going to be a lot of homeless federal agents, which is a good thing
yeah. I
because
agree.
fuck them. Like you are, and I don't say this lightly. Like a lot of these people, I view them in a very similar manner to concentration camp guards. Like these people are enablers. That's down to fucking accountants. Like Nuremberg trials spared none of those motherfuckers. Like there's a lot of people who are creating misery through just like complacence and like ignorance. And
Yeah,
like so many people were like, "Oh, but what about the park rangers?" It's like, "Oh, dude. Like please. This
yeah,
thing is so fucking bloated. Like these people, if they can't find jobs that are provide for society, that they're fucking pointless people. Like beg for some fucking change in your three-letter agency windbreaker. You fuck.
yeah. I'm inclined to agree with that. I think that it's an alien versus predator situation. It's like whoever wins, we lose.
Yeah.
I feel like I've done that bit before. That being said, I'm much happier that the government is fighting itself than going after your average person, which they still are. They still
Unless you're Mexican,
yes,
it's a bad time to be
it's a
Mexican.
very bad time to be a Mexican.
Hey, if you are someone who still does your taxes, right now is a really great time to do your taxes and try and pull a fast one because the IRS is in shambles.
Like I want a Ron Swanson government, not to be like a gay libertarian or whatever. Does anyone also feel like the libertarian movement got psyoped? Like
Yes.
they got
It's always been a
psyoped into
psyop.
being
In the words of Konkin, it was a partyarchy for most of its fucking existence.
yeah,
Like if you weren't actively participating in the gray market and black market and like just attacking authority any way you could to make your
yeah,
life more free, like you weren't doing enough. Sorry, like it needed to be a lifestyle, not a vote. So yeah, that movement was the only thing the libertarian movement succeeded in, like the actual like capital L libertarian movement succeeded in, was freeing Ross Ulbricht.
yes. Which when I
Literally,
got that,
literally,
I
it's
hopium again. I'm just like, cool, fuck yes, okay, good. Like there was like win after win after win after win, and like the USAID stuff came out, and then I looked at it for like 10 seconds longer. I'm like, oh, like for every win there's a loss, um, and it's nothing that like the that's even being reported in the media because it's institutions that the left uses too. Like it's like a little peek behind the curtain is like, oh, the things that are awful aren't being acknowledged at all, and like DEI and taking rid of all of that stuff is just like the right's version of pushing the trans fucking non-binary stuff on the left. It's just lip service. It's just more culture war shit.
yeah, it's something for the peasants to fight over, and like
You know, Facebook
sure,
moms. Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah, there are things within all of that happening that like directly affect people's lives. Like whichever
Yeah,
side you're on, there are aspects of both of those things that
yeah,
will interrupt and affect people like how they live.
absolutely. In my heart of hearts too, like I believe in a meritocracy. I do think that like government intervention being like we should hire people of a certain skin color, it's kind of fucked up. Um,
Yeah.
and like absolutely no communism. I've been carrying this fucking fuck communism Zippo on me for 10 years. Um, it doesn't even have any fuel in it. I just like it. I just like it. Um, but like
Remember,
that being said, like, does it matter? Not. I do think that it is like lip service to keep the Facebook moms happy. I think like if people did, if it
Dude,
wasn't such a hot button issue, it wouldn't be touched at all. Maybe I'm just cynical.
no, when we stopped fighting about silly things for a moment in 2020, and it looked like the right was about ready to go out and start burning government buildings down alongside the left burning down precincts. Like there was a very brief, like maybe a month or two, where it looked like that was about where we were at, and
Yeah,
then everything got psyoped and split right down the middle, and people
yeah.
started getting
3 feet on the
retarded. And,
fucking gas pedal.
yep,
Um,
and all of a sudden we're back to left versus the right, and the peasants
yeah,
defeating themselves.
it is very funny to see like how much money was being funneled. If again it's true, which I do believe it was, how much money was being funneled from the federal government to like advocacy groups, to
Hmm,
nonprofits within the United States, to weirdly a lot of gun control groups like Giffords and Everytown were both getting tons of USAID money,
of
which is really
course.
fucked up. Like I think some 6,000 media outlets, both foreign and domestic. Which, if you think about it, it proves Project Mockingbird, which
Oh, I mean,
declassified. Yeah, we all knew.
another thing that proves it. I mean, that like that to be annoying and plug it back into PPTF. This is kind of part of the reason this brand exists. It's like it's a reflection of how funny all of these like weird psyop agencies are. Like the branding is kind of like as if this is an agency, you know?
Yeah,
And it's because of things like Project Mockingbird, where like they're just fucking true. That shit just happened, dude.
yeah. It's it happened, and there were no consequences for it, and everyone got away, and it's still and like is living a cushy retirement now,
Yep.
and now we have to deal with the consequences, which is like all media, both foreign and domestic, is under some sort of state control.
Oh, remember in 2016 when they voted Trump in to put Hillary in jail, and then she didn't
Yep.
go to jail,
And that
and
didn't
then
happen.
remember, yeah,
Yeah,
in 2020 and 2024 when people voted for Trump so Fauci would go to jail,
yeah, and also
and
fucking the Epstein logs would get released, and then they didn't. Like I somehow think that's worse of a grift that they pretended to release them instead of instead of just ignoring it and just going back on it. Like somehow I think that's less insulting to just ignore your campaign promise than just redact everything and put it out anyways in the hands of fucking conservative Instagrammers and stuff.
yeah. So you know, there we're in an age where a lot of people are gonna stagnate and just kind of turn their brain off because it's easier and it's it's more fun to be like, oh yeah, we won, everything's good now. I can uh i can just let my guard down. And I've seen that attitude amongst a lot of people who've been to the left and right of us, for not like politically, but people we've talked to, not necessarily on the show, but like people in our circles or adjacent to our circles. A lot of people, once Trump won this time, they were like, they just wanted to win, and I get it. Like we've been kicked like fucking dogs for years in terms of our rights and how we've been treated. Like we've been treated like children with what we've been told is going on in the world. Like I understand that people are exhausted and don't want to hear like, oh, things still suck even though we got a big win, as a lot of
Yeah,
people think of a Trump win, but like that is exactly how we got to where we are with, Fuds and everyone else. Like people just wanting a win and letting their guard down and becoming their dads or their grandpas who were just like, it. I know I used to be a libertarian. I used to be a radical anti-government dude, but you know what? It's so much easier to just vote red and just be happy to get a win. And it's like, dude, that is exactly how we ended up to this neutered, pathetic fucking state in the first place. So, you know, aside from like the silly shit we're going to be doing, that's something when you look at the, this side of what we're up to outside of, educating people on the basics to make them like try and help people get to a basic level of preparedness and EDC and citizen rifleman shit and, general preparedness, all of that shit. Like, this is the other thing that PPTF, I wanted to kind of make something that, still touch on this stuff when people are taking things for granted. Still try and keep a little bit of rebellion in you, even when everyone else is letting their guard down. Because holy fuck,
To be clear, too, I'd also love to be wrong about all of this. Genuinely, like, if
100%.
they come out tomorrow and they're like, "Hey, we got rid of the IRS entirely, and the NFA is going to be repealed, and also we're
And we
releasing the
replaced it with
uncensored."
nothing.
Yeah, we're really releasing the uncensored Epstein flight logs, even though it makes a bunch of us look bad. I will have a little more faith, or like they tell Israel to screw, then I'll have a little more faith. Yeah, like, or maybe they'll bioengineer like pigs to be capable of flight. Maybe then I'll have a little more faith. But as of right now, the world is getting a little more gay and a little more retarded. But I'm happier than I've ever been. So fuck them.
Hell yeah, brother. That's the thing. I mean, none of this shit has mattered to me for years because I just live how I want to, and
Yeah,
you should too.
you just you need a dog and a carry handle, and that's more or less it.
That things that make a guy say hell yeah.
Well, you'll have a carry handle soon when you get that fucking Alien Kaufman SA80. That's going to be pretty dope.
Yes,
I will count
dude.
that as a carry handle.
It's a slightly fucked up carry handle, but it is indeed a carry handle.
Yes. Oh,
Um,
man.
dude,
You'll have to join the club.
I want to put that fucking EarTech 3 to 9 on the carry handle.
There's something really like retro futuristic about that. I kind of fuck with it.
When I build out that SA80, I want it to be like instead of being a pussy and not stealing an SA80 when I left the country, as if I had done. As if my first AR instead of being my 14.5, it was
A fucking
an SA80.
Select Fire SA80 with
Yep.
all proprietary parts. The second one of those things breaks, you're fucked.
Yeah, what a bad decision that would have been.
Yeah.
But no, I'm looking forward to that project.
Yeah.
I'm the first batch is being shipped. Our buddy Chad's, he already has one. Anyway, gang, anything we need to hit before we get out of here? Because it's like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I could see Phil dying because he's got to be up in like 3 hours to go to the airport.
5 hours.
Phil,
Yeah.
go to bed. We can wrap this up.
I'll just wrap it up.
Before we get out of here, I'll probably chuck this earlier in the episode, so some housekeeping. So, just so everyone's aware of what this is not like a drop where, once it is posted, there's like 5 of everything, and then it sells out, and then it goes on Facebook Marketplace for like a 10 times markup. Like, it's a pre-order. It's running from February 28th, 12 Eastern, 12 p.m. Eastern, through to March 21st, midnight Pacific time. So you can order whatever you want within that time. There's no stock. It's all a pre-order. And then once the pre-order ends March 21st, we'll be sending off the final tally of everything to SO Expressions. They print it and embroid stuff, send it to me and Phil. We will be packing it for you, shipping it to you.
If people
Blah,
ask,
blah, blah.
if people put in like little schizophrenic notes in the order description, will you fulfill them?
We will do our best.
Okay, because I'm going to order something from you, and it's going to have something fucking weird in it.
God damn it. I'll yeah, I don't know what the volume's going. We have no idea. It could be 2 orders. It could be 200. Who fucking knows? But yeah, no. If you want to be fun, chuck something in the orders. For this first batch, I said on the little Q&A I was just doing, but we're going to be chucking in some logo stickers while our supplies last. So they're not on the website currently. I might add them to the website, but everyone will be getting some of those if you order in this first wave. So you heard it here first. But I'm probably going to cut this out and chuck it towards the start of the episode so we can do some house cleaning so everyone knows what's going on. It's a pre-order. It says that all over the fucking place, and things will ship once the shortly after the pre-order ends. We'll need about maybe a week and a half, depending on how many things people order, the volume of it, to then make it, ship it to us, and get it shipped to you. So
I want to throw on also, just because you missed the pre-order window doesn't necessarily mean you'll never be able to get this design. We're not planning to make things limited. They could come back later.
Hey, Phil.
yeah.
Phil, you're not supposed to tell them that. It's supposed to be false scarcity, so they think they'll never get it.
No, we're not fucking doing this.
No.
Are you sure? Pre-order now, or you don't get limited edition. We'll enter you into a draw to get some fucking Photonus nods.
If we do giveaways like that, that should be charity stuff, not like
yeah.
If you're being entered to win nods for buying something, then that the proceeds need to go to a charity, not us.
I agree. I agree. I think, like, I feel kind of weird about it because while I think those things are cool, I do think and like, people are adults again, but they do a little bit prey on some people that are a little prone to gambling, things like that.
They are getting a product as well.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's not like you just buy a raffle ticket.
Yeah.
And here's the thing.
Yeah, I'd never say get rid of them or don't do them. I don't think it's even cool to do them. I just I personally probably wouldn't make something too high of stakes. I'd probably give away like a cloud light or something. Which is
here's the thing, like,
not really expensive.
I know these things legit because Phil wins like an odd amount of them.
Yeah.
Like,
fair point.
The number of wins are greatly exaggerated.
Yeah.
So many. It's like every other one.
I know a couple people who run them or like run adjacent to them, and there's like a not insignificant amount of people who buy like 10 shirts, 20 shirts, 30 shirts to get a better chance.
Jesus.
And get a little poopy when they don't get something. And obviously they're adults and that's kind of their problem to deal with. But
gambling
it's like
is wild.
The whale archetype. Like the 2% of players that pay 90% of the funds accrued.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well,
I digress. I'm
long story short, we're trying to do things a little bit differently.
Yes.
So, big old window. The trade-off is, that the con is, instead of like having everything on hand and being able to ship out next week, there's going to be a little bit of a wait time. So,
yes.
This is our first time doing it. Hopefully there won't be any hang-ups with production, but we're going to, be very clear on messaging on the website, via email, and via the Instagram.
Yeah.
And Twitter and TikTok now. We have that.
Yes, we are on TikTok.
As a side note, if you want to digitize and like turn some of my guides into TikToks, I saw other people were doing that and they did very well. You're more than welcome to do that and like put them on, I don't know, some funk, some country music, and just have guides with AI narration.
Some country funk.
But since I will not be touching, I will treat it the same way as the Twitter, which I will not be touching it, but you can have that content. As an aside, I'd like to announce, because this will keep me a little more beholden to it, not that I haven't done this a few times and just didn't. I have an editor now to a degree. He's my friend Evan, and he's going to make sure that I do more guides and make sure I get back to stuff. I'm pretty demotivated lately after my LASIK injury and everything. I've been very bad at art, very bad at like keeping myself accountable. We had a pretty good conversation today about how we'd like to restructure in terms of like getting people content. And I think like what I got into Seaburn for initially was the educational aspect. I don't know why I couldn't find that word. I had something initially a little more pretentious in my mind, and I really want to return to that. I think like it's been a little demotivating trying to draw and then immediately getting migraines, which sucks as an artist.
Yeah, especially
But
a
now,
digital artist.
literally somebody who works on screens all the time. But now like I got some good glasses. I have a manager to keep me. He doesn't call himself a manager. I'm going to call him a manager. Keep me motivated, and we're going to put a soft guide of two guide soft like sort of deadline of 2 guides a month, and more episodes for Patreon because I've been really slacking on those. I apologize. I got a backlog to make up on. I'm going to make it happen, whether it kills me or not. And if it kills me, then unsub, I guess. Sorry. The show becomes 50% less racist and 20% less funny, I think. You're just mulling those numbers over in your head.
I'm like, why'd you put numbers to it?
Certainly less racism.
100% less racist and 10% less funny.
Yeah. I was like, how does that reflect on me? What is the total number?
I've seen
I
you.
think I only provide like a 20%.
You're British. You have like a
I do hate other white people.
biological
That is
hatred
true.
towards anyone from Pakistan.
Or anyone over 20 miles away from where I was born.
Exactly.
Correct.
Your accent is from the next county? You're fucking inbred.
We should exterminate those pikey fucks.
we should kill those northerners. They're different. They only discovered fire in the 80s.
Yeah, I haven't discovered Phil's problematic thoughts yet, but I'm sure they'll have them. He's too angry to not have them.
He hates people who uses drugs, which actually no, you don't
Ironic.
even.
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, no, Phil's pretty wholesome. He's just kind of a good dude.
I don't know what to say to that.
As a side note, I just got an Oculus. This is going to be dumb, but I'm going to figure out how to do CQB reps
I'm gonna do CQB with my
in
Oculus.
the Discord. I just got Tactical Assault VR, which is the gayest fucking name. But it is like a pretty good virtual kill house that you can just run through and do basic.
Does it track your footwork accurately?
It tracks your footwork. You gotta make sure you pie that corner just right.
Otherwise,
No,
kills in the streets.
I'm going to be doing like gay stuff like that with people because it's very fun and I actually really enjoy it. I should have Ace VR soon too. So if any of the homies want to shoot with me, just hit me up.
Hell yeah. Cool. So we have rambled about all sorts. Well, thank you guys for listening to this hour-and-a-half ad for PP.TF. Make sure you buy something, because if you don't,
it'll never come up again.
yes,
Please consume.
and then resell on eBay for 10 times the price, and then we'll do the same exact drop next month, and everyone will cry.
Maybe I'll do a skeleton with nods just because they're so popular. They're so popular. Someone found my portfolio the other day, and they saw my logo I did for Redbeard Tactical, which was just like a skeleton with nods, and it had the words "made up solutions" under it.
Oh yeah.
He messages me, and I shit you not. He's like, "What company is this? I've never heard of this. This logo goes hard." I'm like, "My guy, you are the product. You have been grifted by this logo. Like you are. He's trying to make fun of."
Oh fuck.
He wasn't even a tactical guy too. It's people are that gullible, I guess, when you present a skeleton with quads in front of them.
Dude, here's the thing. I would absolutely rock a made-up solution shirt.
I'll send you the design if you want Rachel to make one.
That would be
Dude,
fucking hilarious.
Option.
If we find a way to make it funny and parody other things, we should do that.
Yes, well, I mean, you should ask Felix for the rights to.
Oh
it.
yeah.
Fair.
I didn't. I mean,
I mean,
Yeah,
if you want to do a
but-
new design with skeletons with nods and make it funny,
oh no, I don't do that every week. They're not funny. Maybe
Skeletons
So
of Nods are dead to Nathan.
dad advice. Dad advice. Go. BR and then Phil and then me.
Shit.
Oh, that's nice how you organize that.
Yes.
That's very cool. All
Yeah.
right,
I
I'm
put you on the
fucking.
spot,
How
motherfucker. What are you
convenient.
gonna do about it?
Um,
Neil?
all right. Here's one. Seriously, be careful who you work with in this industry. There are. We've all had experiences with like interesting people who take advantage of the culture, of how easy it is to kind of like make a name for yourself, and um, what's a good way to wrap this with a bow? Um,
Uh, trust but
there's a lot of
verify.
trust but verify. There's a lot of people in this space who are working things out for the first time, and their ignorance can end up becoming malice very quickly.
Yeah.
Like, people get in over their head, and next thing you know, they're just like, oh, well, it's easier to just take advantage of you, especially if you're a creative working in this space, because people, they're not necessarily experienced working with media people.
Yeah.
And not everyone is good at paying those people or following through and keeping their word. Like, it's a fucking messy space to work in. So, just advocate for yourself and be careful with that shit. And
Yeah.
also buy products at pptaskforce.com starting. Actually, no, by the time this episode's out, you'll be able to buy shit. So, link in the description, buy some shit. Thank you.
Phil, your go.
All right. Lift weights, cook your own fucking food. Stop going out to eat so much. Uh, and find a way in your field of expertise and or work to be unique.
Yeah.
That way people have a reason to hire you aside from you're good at what you do. You're good at what you do and you're not like everyone else.
Hell yeah. Niches.
Um, I think. God, I'm the one who asked this, and now I'm blanking. Two things. One, tape over the front of your pistol optic and then try it. Just try it. It'll force you to shoot target focus, and if you don't do that already, because a good portion of you probably already do, you will be surprised at you may shoot a little faster. Your hit factor might go up. Every once in a while, I lose the ability to shoot target focus, and as soon as I slap some painter's tape in the front of my optic, I get that ability back within a couple days. So do that. You'll be faster. Maybe.
Oh, based. Actually, I have another one for tape.
Sure. Shoot.
Which is way more relevant than my other one to the FTX thing that I'm doing this weekend. Tape your muzzle or suppressor if you're doing field shit. Like, this is one of those weird like FUD law things. So it's just put some electrical tape over your muzzle or your suppressor. So if you fucking stack it and put your muzzle into mud, you don't risk getting rocks and shit in there. And some people are like, won't that obstruct the bullet? Like, fuck no. The gas is gonna push that tape out of the way before your bullet even gets there. Otherwise, like, that it's not gonna interrupt the bullet at the muzzle. Like, it just won't happen, guys. So, I've seen plenty of guys stack it and bury the fucking bird cage in dirt, and then it's like, ooh, make sure you don't shoot that until you clean that shit properly.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's actually some good dad advice. Forget my other ramble.
Oh, one last thing. One last thing. One last thing. So I'm so sorry, Philip. Go to bed. All because someone's an expert at their particular thing doesn't make them an expert on everything, and it doesn't make them an expert at anything other than the discipline that they learned. I see a lot of experts from like the same field who learn two different things, and I brought this up earlier. Absolutely fucking hate each other because their way is the only right way, even though both things get them to the same goal. And then it gets down to like really nasty name calling. Like some of the most accomplished people in their respective fields are treating each other like children because the institutional knowledge that they accrued doesn't match each other's. All because your favorite influencer is really good at what he says doesn't mean that the people he calls wrong are actually wrong. So vet everything. Use critical thinking. If someone is negative 90% of the time, chances are like that's a him problem, not an actual problem. But yeah, that's about it.
And ignore Israeli instructors. Their only practical experience comes from shooting kids in the face, which is not very valid.
What if you're training on shooting kids in the face?
Then I guess it's relevant and you should listen to Israeli instructors. They're very experienced. All right. Thank you guys for listening. PPTaskforce.com. We appreciate you guys. Much
Consume
love.
products. Get excited for new products.
Consume. Yes. So, drops. Drops. All right. Much love. Thank you, everyone. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.